Along with Judge Susan Weber Wright, Paula Jones flew in from Arkansas for Bill Clinton's deposition.
It was mob city. There must have been 600 people from the media. Steve, Paula's husband, just looked like he was a deer in the headlights, and Paula didn't know what to do. So I finally got out, and I just started pushing people aside. Move, 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 move.
Looking overwhelmed as she pushed through a sea of reporters and cameras, she was hustled into the building.
As I started to go in, the man shut the door in my face. So here I am outside with the press the whole day, which, when you look back at it, was kind of a stupid thing on their part.
Paula hasn't really cared, what the rest of the country thinks. Paula has to be worried about what 12 jurors in Little Rock, Arkansas are going to think.
At the White House, President Clinton and his lawyers loaded up into the presidential motorcade for the quarter-mile drive. They knew the name Monica Lewinsky might come up, but were confident that Monica's affidavit denying the affair would be enough to squash the issue. As the presidential limo drove past the press and into an underground garage in the basement of the Skadden Arps law firm, they did not know that Paula's lawyers had just been briefed by Linda Tripp.
The lawyers kept that even from me. He was so excited. And I said, "What's going on?" I can't tell you till after the deposition.
For 6 hours, the president was hit with questions about specifics that he thought nobody knew.
The Jones people had incredible detail.
At any time, were you and Monica Lewinsky together alone in the Oval Office?
I don't recall, but as I said...
Blindsided by the questions, President Clinton was evasive with his answers.
But you have no specific recollection of that ever happening?
It's possible that she, while she was working there, brought something to me, and at the time she brought it to me, she was the only person there. That's possible.
He basically says, "Oh gosh, I can't remember. I don't think I was ever alone with her. Might have been alone when we had pizza," but he clearly states he doesn't think he was alone with her.
Returning to the White House, President Clinton was extremely concerned about the line of questioning.
He knows he's in big trouble. What does Judge Susan Weber Wright remind him when the deposition is over? Don't talk about your testimony with any potential witnesses.
Betty Curry does not normally work weekends.
What does the president do? He calls Betty Curry over.
So she went into the office that Sunday, and then he proceeded to walk her through several statements.
Betty, when Monica was over here, you could see and hear everything, right?
We were never alone, right? She was only here because you were here, right, Betty?
He not only is violating what Judge Susan Weber Wright told him to do, he is coaching a witness and telling that witness to lie.
Curry would then place numerous pages and phone calls to Lewinsky that went unanswered.
She was the chief facilitator, and the protectors literally tried to protect him from himself. They were loyal to the nth degree, but they knew that this was wrong, that it would be Armageddon if it ever came out.
The president had entangled himself and his staff in a cover-up that would jeopardize the presidency.
He had never had to be careful before. It was generally understood in Washington that a person's private sexual life wasn't appropriate for public discussion in the public arena.
Those days were over. At Newsweek's headquarters, Michael Isikoff's editors had been hesitant to publish his bombshell article, knowing that not everything had been verified and that it could jeopardize an ongoing investigation. But the elves were getting restless and wanted the story out.
Matt Drudge got a hold of the fact that Newsweek's editors were sitting on it.
He pioneered this new form of media that became the Drudge Report.
I don't just necessarily discern just because someone has a degree on the wall that they're telling me the truth.
Isikoff let us know at some point that weekend that Newsweek was not going forward with the story.
They were afraid to go with it.
They said, we're going to spend more time investigating this.
It just was a strange circumstance where reporters in Washington were afraid to report the story.
Conway just emailed Drudge. It's been spiked.
So Matt Drudge got the scoop on that.
Isikoff still had his deeply reported story, but he had been instantly scooped. With simple black text and a spinning red light, the biggest political story in American history broke.
Life for Bill Clinton and the media and the country would never be the same.